Hey guys, it's Lindsay here with Pilates on Demand, and today we are going to do a wrist strengthening and stretching workout. It will be all body weight, so you don't need any equipment. This is a great routine to warm your wrists up for a more challenging workout, or say you have any wrist pain or sensitivity, or they just don't feel very strong. This will hopefully help you get some stretching and mobility in the wrists and build up some strength. So we're gonna get right into it. Just take a nice comfortable seat and then stretch your arms out to a T position at shoulder height. I want you to lengthen your fingers and seal them together. Palms will face forward, and we're going to try to move just from the wrists. So keeping your elbows and your shoulders still, you're going to point your fingers straight back to the wall behind you and think of pushing through the heel of the hand. This should create a stretch to the inside of the wrists, maybe even up into the palm. Then the fingers are going to point straight forward, and this should create a stretch through the top of the wrists, maybe even up into that forearm. Good, so we're going to continue doing that action, fingers angling back as much as possible. You're going for a big range of motion, and then fingers pointing forward. Good, as those fingers go back, we're bringing the wrist into something called wrist extension. And then as the fingers come forward, we are doing something called wrist flexion, just in case you're interested. Good, so let's do about 4 or 5 more of these, going forward and back. Good, it's quite normal to feel sensations that you think you've never felt before, like, huh, didn't know that area of my body could stretch. Okay, keep your neck relaxed, your shoulders down. Let's do 2 more of these, and try not to move your fingers. Keep them all sealed together so that hand moves in one unit. Good, last one, to the back and to the front. Good, now palms face straight forward. Let's make fists for a second. You're going to turn your fists down to the floor and then up to the ceiling. So when it goes down to the floor, you're thinking of bringing your pinky towards your elbow. And then when it goes up towards the ceiling, you're thinking of bringing your thumb towards the eye of your elbow. So pinky towards the outer elbow, then thumb towards the inner elbow. Good, now notice that I'm trying to just move from my wrists, and I'm keeping my elbows and shoulders still. Good, when I angle my pinkies down, I'm really feeling a stretch right here. That's kind of new for me. Okay, let's try this with straight hands. So again, try not to move any part of your fingers, moving just from the wrists. So point the pinkies to the floor, and then point the pointer finger and thumb to the ceiling. Pinkies to the floor, pointer finger to the ceiling. And then pay attention if you're trying to move your elbows at all to help you. So try not to do that at all. It's okay if it's really small. If you don't have a lot of range of motion, the more you practice this, the bigger range of motion you'll get, the more stretch you'll be able to get into. If you let the arms move, then you're kind of compensating and you won't be able to stretch the specific area, right? We're paying attention to the wrists right now. Good, let's do 1 more each way. Point it down and point it up. Good, and release. Okay, you're gonna take your left hand and hold your right wrist. So this is gonna keep the arms still. And then we're gonna draw a big circle with that right wrist. So as big as you can make it. The reason I like to hold the arm is because I feel like it's virtually impossible to draw a circle with the hand without moving everything else if you don't hold it in place. Good, and now just reverse those circles the other way. Warming up the joint for some more intense stuff we'll do in a second. Good, and then let's let that go and switch sides. So right hand grabs the left wrist, big circle all the way around, finding as much range as you can. Good, and then let's reverse that. It's normal to feel little pops. As long as there's no pain, we're in a good place. Good, let's do 3 more for 3, and 2, and 1. Okay, coming into one of my favorites. This one really heats the hands and wrists up. So palms open and then close. Nice tight clenched fists. Open, close. When you open, you're gonna spread your fingers wide. When you close, you're tightening and squeezing into the smallest ball you can. So open, close, open, close. When you open, you're stretching the palm. When you close, you're contracting all of those muscles in the wrists and in the hands. Good, so we're starting with a modified tempo, right? Just open, close. We're gonna pick the pace up in about 30 seconds. This is going to create heat in your forearms right here. You're gonna be like, wow, I never knew just doing something so simple could create such a burn. Good, stretch open, close. That's it. Good, and notice that we're just moving from the hands, from those fingers. Everything else is staying still. Good, squeeze, release. Okay guys, we're gonna just pick that tempo up. So I want you to contract those hands in and out as fast as you can. This is when we're really gonna start to feel that burn. Squeeze, release. Ah, it's firing it up. Good. So this one I really, really like as a wrist warm up, as you can tell. I mean, the wrists are feeling pretty fiery after this. Okay, let's try to go for 30 more seconds. Keep that tempo up. Squeeze, release, in, out. Good. Last 20. Woo! Feeling in the top of those forearms. Good. We got 14. Last 10. Good. We're here. 8. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Oh, shake that out. Okay, we're gonna bring it to all fours. So I'm gonna have you just have your knees underneath your hips. Your hands are going to be turned out. Fingers are spread really wide. So this is something very important about not just strengthening the wrists, but helping support the wrists during something more challenging like a full plank, is your palm should not be lifted. I should not be able to slide any part of my hand underneath the hand that's planted, yeah? So spread open the fingers, and I want the hands to be active. So you're pushing into the floor. Feel pressure. So that's pretty important for almost everything we're gonna do today. So, fingers spread wide, actively pressing down. We're gonna circle our body weight to the right, to the front, to the left, to the back. Right, front, left, back. Actively pushing the hand down like you're trying to make a handprint. Good. You wanna feel that center knuckle of your finger planted. And as we're moving, I don't want any part of your hand to lift. Okay, we're just gonna reverse this. We're gonna take it left, front, right, and back. Left, front, right, and back. So we're just shifting the body weight. This is stretching through the wrists, creating more mobility there. Good, give me 2 more. And last one. Okay. So now you're gonna come on top of the hand with the fingers pointing towards your knees. So the closer your knees are to your hands, the less intense this will be. And that's not good or bad. That's just for you to know how to adjust if it's too intense for your wrists, or if you're like, hey, I could probably use a little more, I'm gonna back the knees up a bit. Yeah, this is pretty solid for me, but if I needed more, I'd keep bringing the knees back. Okay, so now the fingers are spread wide again, even though the palms are facing up. I want you to push your nails down, spread across the fingers. Okay, that should be creating a stretch in the top of the forearm. From here, we're going to clasp the hands like you're trying to make a fist, and then spread them open and click the fingernails into the floor. Okay, spread them open like you're trying to make a tight fist, and then lengthen the fingers. The other adjustment you can make is bending the elbows is going to make this exercise less intense. Straightening the elbows is going to make it more intense. Good, clench, release, press into the floor. Clench, release. Good, let's do 3 more. Squeeze the palm, stretch the palm open. Good, last two. Squeeze, release. Last one, squeeze, release. Okay, come off the hands and just give them a little shake. Okay, now we're gonna go to the inside of the palm. So you're gonna plant your hands down with the palms facing the floor and the fingers pointing towards your knees. So fingers are spread open. I want you to widen your hand as much as you can. So same idea as last time. If you need less intensity, bring those knees towards your hands and put more weight in your legs. If you need more intensity, you walk the knees back. Now, as you progress your wrist stretching and strengthening, you can quite literally go into a modified plank or go into a full plank if you're feeling up to it. Okay, but for today's purposes, I'm going to be in a all fours position. So with the heel of your hand staying planted, so this area of the hand, I do not want it to lift up. Keep it down. I just want you to shift your body weight front and back. When you go back, that's when I want you to make sure that the wrist does not lift. Yeah, seal it to the floor. So I'm going to shift front and back. Good. Firm the center knuckles of those fingers into the ground. Good. I definitely feel my palms working a lot. All those little muscles in the hands are getting stronger here, and that is going to help support the wrists in those more challenging positions. When you hold a heavy dumbbell, when you do a plank on your hands. Good. We're just shifting front and back. Good. Last one. Good. And then come off of the hands. Give them a little break. Oh, just shake them out. Okay, the next thing we'll do is something called elbow rotations. So it's going to be your arm bone that moves. The hands are going to stay completely still. So you're going to plant your hands down right underneath your shoulders. Hands will not move. I'm going to turn my elbows forward as much as I can and then rotate my elbows towards my knees as much as I can. Elbows turn forward and then elbows spin to the knees. When the elbows turn forward, the biceps are turning towards your chest. And when the elbows spin towards the knees, the biceps are pointing towards the front of the mat. Good. So it should feel like the humerus, that's the upper arm bone, is spinning in the shoulder socket. Good, let's do 4 more. And the idea of most of these exercises is that you're trying to find the biggest range of motion that you can find. So that's where it's going to help you increase mobility. So I'm turning my arm out as much as possible and in as much as possible. Good, last one. Turn it forward, spin it in. Okay, now we're going to go to internal rotation. So I'm going to take my hands and turn them in towards the body as much as possible. Maybe you can get your fingers to point towards your knees. The pinkies are on the inside, thumbs on the outside, palms down. I'm going to try the right one as well. Then the fingers are spread wide, and I'm spreading across the palm, pushing the hands into the floor. Good, so hands are active here. And where I'm feeling the stretch is right here. Good, and then I'm going to see if I can increase that even more after a couple moments. Good, push the floor away from you and lengthen through your elbows to intensify. Knees walk back to also add intensity. The more weight that's in the hands, the more this is going to intensify that stretch. Good, plug the shoulders down. And let's take 3 breaths here as we hold this wrist stretch. Okay, come off the hands and give it a release. We are nice and heated up. We're going to come into 2 more exercises. These are going to be our more advanced exercises. So if you feel like you've had enough for the day, this is where you pause, you keep getting better, and then you try these when you feel like you're up for it. So we're going to do a fingertip tabletop, and then it will progress into a plank. So your fingertips are down. You're gonna bring your shoulders right over the wrist and the palm is not touching the floor. So my hand is cupped. I'm gonna have you squeeze the floor as tight as you can, contract all the muscles in the arms, and then release the squeeze. So you're pinching the floor, squeeze, 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 squeeze. Biceps are strong. Release the squeeze. Okay, let's do 4 more of those. Squeeze the mat, the carpet, the ground, whatever's underneath you, and release. Good. The wrist is long in this position, right? So the hand is no longer creasing at the wrist. I'm going to do 2 more. Squeeze and release. Okay, last one. Squeeze and release. Okay, this is where we're gonna take it up into that plank. So here's the progression. You're here, then you're here, modified plank. Abs are in, spine is long. From there, the toes will tuck. This is gonna put a lot of weight in the finger pads. We're strengthening the palm, the wrists, the forearms. Good. What do you say we hold 30 seconds? Yeah, and maybe you build up to it. Maybe that's not for you today, but one day, right? That's how we get stronger. Okay, try to keep the palm lifted, squeeze and grip through the fingertips, and lift the abs. Let's go for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay, bring it on down, shake it off. I don't know if I've ever done so much wrist and finger work in just one class. This is good for us. Okay, so our last move, our most challenging move is going to be a push-up that challenges the wrist. So, you're gonna start with the top of the hand down, fingers face in towards each other, nails press into the mat. Now the more modified version is to have the knees closer, just like all of the other ones. Make sure your nails do not lift and the top of the hand stays down. You're gonna bend the elbows out to the side and then press up. Bend and stretch. Okay, so this is going to be the modified version, but I would argue it's already challenging on the wrists. Okay, the next place is to shift the knees back. So now I'm more in a tabletop. Okay, the only thing that is moving are my elbows. Okay, if that feels good, then we're in that modified plank and we bend and we stretch. Good, let's do 2 more. Bend, stretch. Last one, bend, stretch. And then walk it in. Woo! How do those wrists feel? They feel like they've been worked like never before. So this is a great routine to get those hands strong. It can be a standalone workout. Whoever thought of just working out your hands and your wrists, but it's super important. I feel like, hands, feet, smaller muscle groups, they get overlooked. And often when there's an imbalance or weakness in a part we overlook, it affects other areas. They compensate. So maybe this will help our shoulders because our hands are stronger and can take some of the weight load off when we're in a plank. So I hope you had a good workout today. It was fun hanging out with you guys, strengthening those wrists. And my name's Lindsay Bushman. This is Pilates On Demand, and I'll see you on the next workout. Bye guys. Don't forget to subscribe.